Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. Welcome back to the TED Show. I'm excited to have these three amazing guests on. We are here to talk about the Lake Nona Regional Chamber of Commerce's Chamber Swing, and they're going to tell you a little bit more about that. We have Cynthia Borving, Hope Perez, and Eddie Bradley. See, I got her name right, and then I mess up on Eddie's name. Cynthia's with Rebuild Yourself, Inc. Hope is with Synovus Bank, and Eddie's with Laconic.Digital. Welcome to all three of you. How are you today?
Good, thank you.
Yay. Well, you don't have to get quiet now. They were much more rambunctious before we went live. All right, so before we get into what Chamber Swing is, they love origin story, the audience does. And so I would love to hear a little bit about each of you, kind of your point A to point B, how you got here. I'm sure that you weren't born and decided you're going to be Laconic.Digital or Rebuild Yourself or Synovus. So we all have a little bit of an origin story. So I'm going to start with you, Cynthia, at the top. Tell us a little bit about you and how you got to Rebuild Yourself.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. My name is Cynthia Borving. I am a mother of 5, and I had a full-time job already. I want to make sure that that's clarified, that this came from a place of my heart. Unfortunately, after COVID, my child, who is now a senior, but she was a junior at the time, had a really hard time interacting with her peers coming back from COVID. So when she went back to Lake Nona High School, she felt like she ate lunch alone a lot. So she would contact me during the day, and she would tell me, Mom, I have no friends. And so I would make sure that I put myself during lunch, during her lunchtime at my lunch break, so I could make sure that I could talk to her so she didn't feel alone. I kept telling her, hey, it's the beginning of the school year. Give yourself a little bit of time, a little bit of grace. Try and interact with these children. But for some reason, she still had a hard time. She would call me eating lunch by a tree. She would say she didn't want to be the weird one as a junior with a school full of 4,000 kids, not having any friends. And so I started looking and researching different things, that if there was an availability for kids to interact that maybe didn't have a hobby per se. And unfortunately, I didn't see anything, not what I was looking for my child. So finally, one day she called me and she was totally in tears that the dean found her eating lunch by a toilet seat. And I said, I have to be I can be part of the problem and let this go on, or be part of the solution. So I started Rebuild Yourself, where we can work with teens, middle school and high school, because that's the tough years, right? And basically we work on building them up, rebuilding their self-esteem, rebuilding their confidence, giving them mentorship, leadership skills, to be ultimately better humans. We started with 4 kids, and as of today, if they all show up, I'll have up to 102 in 1 year. So,
how's your daughter doing?
How is she doing?
How is she? Yes.
So with friends, she's doing much better. There's now a group chat that I am not part of. I want to make sure that I do not want to hear the teen drama. Yeah, I'm not part of. But they conversate the rest of the year. She always had someone to sit with at lunch. And you know what I realized during this time is there's a lot of great kids that don't realize they're great, you know? And so building them up and making them feel or confident in their abilities and their skills, I just can't even believe it myself that this kid would feel like he's ostracized and didn't have a friend or felt awkward, because they're so intelligent and beautiful. And it kills me sometimes to see that.
Thank you for sharing that. And you are, Rebuild Yourself is the benefactor of Chamber Swing, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Awesome. All right. And we'll talk a little bit about the charity part and what the actual Chamber Swing is in a bit. All right. Hope Perez, you're up. Welcome to the show. So excited to have you. Tell us a little bit about you and your journey.
Thank you guys for having me. So I am actually born and raised in Chicago. I have something in common with her. I was raised by a single mother of 5 children. So it really taught me really early on to be super hardworking, and to really be involved in the community, because the community really helped us when we were being raised as a single mother. But I was born and raised there. I spent most of my career there. I moved to Florida about 8 years ago. I worked for a big institution, and it really wore me out that I decided to take out 4 years of work and move to Florida. So I only knew one person in Florida at the time that we were bankers with like 15 years before. And I was like, well, I guess I'm moving to Orlando because that's the only person I know in Florida. So it was a huge leap. But I really wanted to spend time with my children before they were too grown to want to hang out with me. My son is 16 and my daughter is 11 now. So it was definitely worth the moving across the country. Florida is now my home. I will never move back to Chicago. But I definitely value the community and time now even more than I did before, because I was able to take that step back and really take some time off. And I went back to work, and I had some time at SunTrust when I returned to work, and I had some people from SunTrust move over to Synovus, and what a blessing it's been for me to be at this bank. To be honest, it's been a true journey, going from working 80 hours a week in Chicago to taking off 4 years of work to spending time with your kids, and to come full circle. My son is 16 and he definitely doesn't want to hang out with me anymore. So absolutely worth it. But I'm so blessed to be at the community bank that I'm at. The work-life balance is completely different. I love Florida. And I spend most of my time doing a lot of community type volunteering events and really helping the community as much as I can.
I love that story. Thank you. And we'll talk about your involvement with Chamber Swing in a minute. Last but not least, the guy with the cool shirt, Eddie Bradley. Welcome to the show. Tell us about you, my friend.
Sure. I mean, these are tough acts to follow, but I'll give it a swing here. So yeah, my name's Eddie Bradley, of course. I was born and raised in Las Vegas, Nevada. Ironically, also, single mother situation, me and my brother. And, it's interesting from a professional perspective. One thing I sort of realized looking around the community in Las Vegas was that, outside the strip and the lights and all that kind of stuff, Las Vegas isn't isn't as nice of a city as Orlando. And I'm sorry for anybody who's from Vegas who may feel otherwise, but there's some things that I think the community resources and perspective, right, that we don't quite that some people who live there, I guess, don't sort of see that. When I moved to Orlando was more prevalent to me. So my mom eventually moved us out here where she met my stepdad, and it was like a whole new world. And I essentially, kind of to Cynthia's point, I sort of went through my own rebuild yourself moment where coming from the West Coast to the East Coast, they're just different things you're into, different types of vibes, I guess you'd say. And coming into, I started here in the 8th grade. I'm right at the end of middle school, trying to now catch up to people who've been going there, who have friends that they've been in elementary school with and whatever. And fortunately, that wasn't a bad transition, but it definitely was a moment, right, to kind of take stock in what I'm doing and sort of rebuild myself. So professionally, I didn't start off kind of going in this digital marketing direction. I sort of knew, coming again from a place in Vegas where it wasn't a great neighborhood, to hear that, like, oh, when you have resources, right, when you can earn a good living, you have other things in life that you have access to. And so I started to kind of go down a legal studies route, and was kind of working towards going to law school. I worked at a law firm for about 13 years, mostly as a paralegal, and was working with an attorney who was just very dear to me. Her name was Jacqueline Hart. And kind of longer story short, she had passed away from pancreatic cancer towards the tail end of my time there. For that year that she was sick, we had talked a lot about just life and stuff like that. And she was one of these people who just loved to travel the world, and she actually put work second. And we just talked a lot about that. And, she was just one of those situations where she's like, look around, make sure you're happy doing what you're doing in life. It's short, and you have to kind of put those interests first. And so when she passed, I just, again, took another step back and thought, is this really the direction I want to go? And it turns out, apparently it wasn't. Decided to become an entrepreneur at that point. That was quite the journey. It's been almost 10 years now. Again, another rebuilding myself type of moment, but it paid off well. And I kind of ended up in the creative space with digital marketing. So, kind of more to Cynthia's point, I think at any age, we find opportunities where we can take a look at where we're at and decide if we want to rebuild or keep going in that direction. And sometimes when you are able to rebuild, you find that it's a better version than you initially started with. So definitely been happy about that so far.
Thank you. God, I didn't even need to be on the show. You guys did such a great job on sharing your journeys. I got to take them myself right off. I love those. And thank you for doing that. I think it's so important. The audience gets to know who sponsors, who's the benefactor, why you're involved, because so many people go through things and they don't know that there are other people out there. They look at successful people and they think they've never had a problem in the world. They don't have any baggage. They don't have any background that would hold them back. And I have found that that is 100% the opposite of what things are. It's usually the people who have had some sort of challenges. Their success is a lot to do with who they are, who they become. So kudos to all three of you. Thank you for sharing that. All right, let's talk about it. The chamber swing. And I wish I was more up to date on exactly the details, but I'm sure one of you can tell me at least the date. And I've put the chamber website, and if I didn't, I need to go back and put that chamber website. I'll put it in the comments. You can go to nonacc.org. But this is I'm sure it's not a tennis match. Tell us about it.
So it's a golf event. I specifically won't be golfing, not good. But it's November 4th. It's coming up. And we're really looking forward to it. It's been a great event the last 2 years. 1 year was super dry. Last year was nice and rainy, but we still had a great time. We're hoping for some sunshine this year. I actually am now the events chair for the chamber as well. So we're going to have a lot of great prizes, a lot of great activities and raffles, and it's really all for a good cause. Every year we pick a non-for-profit. This year, obviously, it is Rebuild Yourself. So we're super excited to be able to contribute to the community that way as well.
So Hope, tell us, are there still golfers can sign up, sponsors? Are we still accepting? I mean, it's y'all think November 4th isn't that far away. We're talking about 6 to 7 weeks. It's just coming up so quickly. So golfers can still, do you have to have a foursome? Can you be an individual golfer? How does it work?
So we love foursomes, but you can be an individual golfer. We still have spots available. We still have spots to sponsor different things at the golf event as well. We're always looking for any donations for raffle items. So you can reach out to me or anybody at the chamber. Happy to answer any questions. Super excited for anybody that's willing and able to join such a great event.
I will donate several lunches for two on behalf of Future Home Loans for any kind of basket. So I'm not creative. So, but if somebody has a basket and they want to put a nice gift certificate for lunch for two here at the Citrus Club, I would be happy to donate several of those. So, awesome. But I think it's important for us to give back and remember that and I'm going to let Eddie speak because I saw him take himself off mute, which I love. I think it's so important. There are ways for you to give back, lots of different ways. So don't think just because maybe you're on a budget. There's also time, there's volunteer, there are connections. So don't ever count yourself out as far as what you can give back. Eddie, you were going to say something for us.
Sure. Yeah, I just wanted to make one other mention aside from the fact that we have an incredible nonprofit that we're supporting. One thing that I thought was pretty unique about this event is it is sort of set up like a golf tournament, but it's a scramble style. And as somebody who's newer to golf, you hear the word scramble and it doesn't necessarily, resonate as far as what it means. But just for anybody who might be in my position, I was 2 weeks ago. A scramble essentially is where you have a team of 4 people. You guys are all playing together as one, right? So we're a team of 4, the 4 of us. We all hit the ball from the tee, right? Whoever had the best shot from there, we all sort of play from that spot. Right? Then we hit the ball again. Whoever has that best shot, we play from that spot. So I think what's really encouraging about that is if you're somebody who is new to golf or you've been playing for a while, but you're still not great, there's an opportunity to still be able to contribute. Maybe you're a great putter, right? But you don't hit very long off the tee. So it really helps for everybody to feel a part of the team without having to have the individual responsibility of carrying, the entirety of the team. So I just thought that was a good
Scrambles are great. I mean, I don't play golf. I like to kind of make sure that the golf cart person follows me with the bar. Those are my favorite kind of golf tournaments. But a scramble is fun because I feel like that it's, if you're going and you're serious about golf, you can still have that moment. But I feel like scramble kind of opens it up. It's a little more lighthearted. You know, you're at your level. You kind of meet the golf tournament where you are in your pro or amateur world. I would be more putt-putt and looking for the windmill. But I absolutely love golf tournaments. It's such a great way also to network. And the Chamber is all about giving value back to the members, being an important part of the community. And for sure, Don and Madeline and the entire team and all the chairs like Hope give back so much. I mean, I think that Lake Nona Regional Chamber of Commerce is the most active chamber I know personally. All my other friends, don't be mad about that, but I'm involved in this one, and I feel like it is so good. It really does give back to the community, and it really does try to build up not only the nonprofits, not-for-profits, but also the businesses who are involved. And so it is just a fantastic chamber to be a part of. They did not pay me to say that. It's Lake Nona, LakeNonaCC.org is the website. All right. Any parting words of wisdom? How can they register? What's the best place for them to go, Hope, to get involved, to get a foursome going, or if they want more sponsorship information?
All through the chamber website.
So Lake Nona CC, Chamber of Commerce.org. So LakeNonaCC.org. And of course, you can find Cynthia's website scrolling across there, rebuildselfcare.com. Eddie's is Laconic.Digital. And of course, Hope's is SynovusBank.com. You can reach out to any of them or reach out to me. Thank you for what you all do in the community. What a beautiful story. Thank you so much, Cynthia, for sharing that. LakeNonaCC.org. Get your tickets or come to me. You guys know how I love a golf tournament. Don't play, but I love a golf tournament, and I love what it does for the community. Thank you all for being on the show. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you guys so much. Get involved. You guys are looking for ways to get involved and give back. I'm talking to my audience now. This is a fantastic way for you to do it. I'm gonna secret the fact that the weather's gonna be amazing. We're gonna law of attraction that, prayers, whatever you want to do. But I know the weather's gonna be beautiful and it's gonna be an amazing event. You guys get involved. LakeNonaCC.org. We'll see you soon.